Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in to my super chat. If you choose to support my voice, my work in these trying times, that is greatly appreciated, and just thank you so very much. National Review, I.G. Horowitz found apparent errors or inadequately supported facts in every single FBI FISA application he reviewed. Every single application he reviewed. Let me repeat myself again. Every single application he reviewed. Not one or two, applications that had, or 17 inaccuracies, which is what they had stated prior. All the applications, ladies and gentlemen, every single one of them, every single one of them that they utilized to surveil President Trump's campaign. If this were the other way around, they would never stand for it. They would never stand for it. If this were the other way around, they would never allow this to take place. They blame everything. They blame the entire world, everything that's ever existed, for their loss in 2016. Imagine if they had tangible reasons, like, corrupt FBI agents that were in the tank for President Trump and the Republican Party. Let's say, for example, they could prove that agencies were politicized against them. Let's say they could prove this. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? It's pretty unbelievable. I.G. Horowitz found apparent errors or inadequately supported facts in every single application he reviewed. The Justice Department Inspector General said it does, quote, not have confidence in the application process following an audit that found the Bureau was not sufficiently transparent with the court in 29 applications. All the applications used against President Trump, including applications from 2014 to 2019. 2014 to 2019, all of which included apparent errors or inadequately supported facts. In other words, they deceived judges. When Democrats initially said, this was reviewed by judges. See, Democrats media always falls back on the integrity and the plausible I guess what they say is, well, the experts or the judge has already looked at it and they said everything was okay. They said you could surveil Trump's campaign. You could infiltrate it was already given to the judge, as if the judge had all the information, as if everything was above board. Democrats, and especially the Clintons, especially Madam Secretary, who will be the nominee, I will have made the biggest political call and prediction of all time, without even anything close. But they are brilliant. They know exactly how to game the system. They know exactly how to utilize, and this is the thing, it is just one side versus the other, and the other side had zero influence within the government. So why do you think you have Hollywood celebrities hanging out with George W. Bush? Why do you think you have a favorable view of George W. Bush in the Democratic Party? Because there's one establishment versus Trump, and the establishment is two-sided. It's the Bush, Cheney, Rumsfeld, President Obama, Clinton, Max Boot, Bill Kristol, Robert De Niro side of the that's the establishment. So James Comey didn't have to get a letter. Neither did Peter Strzok or Kevin Kleinsmith or any of them. They didn't have to get a letter. Eric H526, hello. Eric H526, Luke St. Martin, hello. But they didn't have to get a letter stating, oh yeah, by the way, we're doing this for Madam Secretary. It's their side. That's what people don't understand. Oh yeah, it's like they all conspired together, right? Where's the letter that says that it's one side? Where is the letter from the Clinton campaign that tells BuzzFeed or CNN to do what they do? There is no letter. There is no command or a directive or order or request, aside from the DNC emails where you have Debbie Wasserman Schultz calling journalists or journalists having a dinner party at Clinton campaigns hosted by the Clinton campaign. But where is the direct letter from the Washington Post, the New York Times, MSNBC, CNN? Where is the letter from the Clinton campaign to them or the Democratic Party to them? There, you won't find a letter. You won't find a contract. They're all on the same side, just like James Comey and Clapper and Brennan were. You don't need. See, they demand. Media demands absolute categorical proof for any claim made about the obvious symbiotic relationship or the obvious link between mainstream media and corrupt intelligence chiefs and the Democratic Party and Hollywood. It's like you don't need a signed contract. You know exactly what's going on. You know exactly what's going on. Parabiology 101, exactly. 100%. It started long before the election. And if people think that this entire apparatus is going to go with, hey, come on, man, come on now, you know the thing. It's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, you know the thing. Endowed by the Creator, you know the thing. You know the thing. You know the thing. Come on now, people, now leg here. Come on, lotion. You think that they're going to, you think that they're going to, that these billions of dollars are going to rest upon the chances? You think the billions and billions of dollars are going to rest upon, you should see, I can't even explain what he said the other day. And it's just getting, like, people are just seeing this. It was the most, it was the most hilarious interview. Biden made a vertical hand gesture, and I'll leave it at that, trying to mimic a yo-yo, trying to say that President Trump was like a yo-yo, and he made hand gestures that were so it was beyond cringe. It's it's surreal. It's not even, depending on where your mind is. And the journalist was mortified. You could see in this person's face, completely mortified, but so willing to try to prop up. Like if it was Trump, they would be like, oh, President Trump reenacts this type of activity. Oh, dun, dun, dun. News at 3, news at 5, news at 10. President Trump. What was he doing? Dun, 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 dun. With Biden, it's like no one talks about it. No one talks about a lot of things pertaining to recent allegations, all of these things. But look, the Democratic Party doesn't stand for... They have politicized outrage. They live and breathe to condemn and judge. When it's them, they don't understand hypocrisy. They just think that because they feel something, that they can level condemnation, that they feel justified and moral. They've replaced a belief, okay, there used to be televangelists, or there used to be, politicians that claimed to know what God was thinking. Okay. So they've replaced that with the same religious fervor, except they're the ones who create their own morality, and their morality is only one way. What you do, we can judge. What we do, A, you can't judge, and B, doesn't correlate with how we judge you and how we and what we use to condemn others. Okay, their moral compass is really broken. Like, definitely does not go back to them. Only shows the direction you're at, not the direction they're at ever. So It's pretty unbelievable. It's pretty unbelievable. But let's continue here. Inspector General Michael Horowitz released a report in December which found that the FBI included at least 17 significant errors or omissions in the Carter Page applications and many errors in the Woods procedures during its Crossfire Hurricane investigation after the 2016 Trump campaign. After releasing the report, Horowitz said that he would conduct a further investigation to see if the errors identified in the Page application were widespread. And then he found out not only were they widespread, he couldn't find... Max Sabin! Thank you. H.A. foresaw the golden moon descending upon the DNC. Exactly. Max. Thank you, Max. Thank you. Max Sabin, thank you very much. The concern is that such a high-profile, important case, if it happened here, is this indicative of a wider problem, and we will only know when we complete our audit? Or is it isolated to this event? Don't you love the really phony don't you love Don't you love the plausible deniability? Gosh, we just don't know. We just don't know if this is widespread. Golly gee, everything's just so above board. We just don't. It could have been a one-time occurrence. You know, we just don't know. We have to make sure. You mean the law enforcement officials, especially the federal law enforcement officials, are politicizing investigations? Surely that can't happen. Let's do some more investigation and never indict anyone. Look, when it comes to the issue of indictments, once Clinton loses again, and it'll be Clinton losing again, it's not going to be Biden, okay? You're going to see Democrats say, oh my God, he's politicized everything. He's going after his political opponents. He's going after his political opponents. Adam on 3, 1, 4, 5, 8. Can you imagine Madam Nominee sabotaging your competitor's back and perfecting your craft? Actually, what was that movie? What was that movie with Reese Witherspoon. What was that movie? That was a great movie. Reese Witherspoon, high school president. Where was that movie? Election. Oh, that was great. That was a great movie. That was Matthew Broderick and Reese Witherspoon, 1999. Movies for me ended at around 2004. The beginning of 2004 onward, movies end. You know what? I say no, I shouldn't say that. After 2011, movies just completely everything was warped by. Everything was just warped after around 2010 or so, 2011. But Animal 3, 4, 5, 8. Exactly. You got to watch that movie, the 1999 movie with Matthew Broderick and Reese Witherspoon. It was great. It's called Election. It's fantastic. It's basically a young Madam Secretary. Actually, if you multiply the character in that movie times 1,000, it would be 1/10 of what Madam Secretary is. So there you go. But Annabomb 31458, thank you as always. Austin Anderson, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, movies were great. I mean, I remember. Maybe it's just the fact that I was of a certain age, but I remember the late 80s, 90s, early 2000s, the movies were fantastic. Favorite Star Wars movie? I just go for the first one that I know, which I forgot is the prequel, all this stuff. The one Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi are the only ones I truly care about. I think there might be one. No. And then the one that George Lucas did in '97 that everyone didn't like. Actually, I didn't like that one either. But at least George Lucas was a part of it. I think he was a part of a couple others too after that. I'm not sure. But Star Wars. Orange Grove 55, Star Wars. Return of the Jedi, actually, maybe. Return of the Jedi, I don't know. Return of the Jedi. No, Star Wars. Star Wars is my favorite. Then Return of the Jedi. Then Empire Strikes Back. But I told everybody here that I've gone to record stores in Los Angeles. And I've just whenever I see a DVD from Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, I've gotten DVDs from the 90s, bought them, or from early 2000s, 2004, before Lucasfilm went to Disney, or they sold it to Disney. Not Lucasfilm. They sold the franchise to Disney. Disney completely ran it into the ground, the same way that Democrats have run, the same way the Clintons have run the Democratic Party into the ground. So you have all these goofy lines added. In Empire Strikes Back, the new version is horrendous. You don't see, the part where Darth Vader, telepathically chokes he has this invisible lock on the guy's neck, and then you see the guy. So that was taken out of the new Empire Strikes Back. So a whole bunch of other things too. Anyway, I'm collecting the original DVDs, or I should say DVDs that actually have the movie. But anyway, yeah. the indictments for all of these crimes, because these are crimes that were committed, and at this point right now, William Barr and John Durham and Michael Horowitz, everyone knows what's going on. Everyone knows what's going on. They utilize the government against a certain political side. They all know this. When there's a hint of doing that against them, they say, "Oh my God, they're going after their political opponents. It's treachery. He's a despot. Oh my God." It's like they do not see part of their reality, and the fantasy world they live in is they do not see everything that they're guilty of, which is actually like real crimes. Like not just we have a dossier we have to look at. Real crimes. Servers running outside of the United States government. Kingpin is great. Big Lebowski is one of the great. Spaceballs, love space. That's one of the. I saw that at a birthday party in elementary school, and that movie. I don't know how many movies there are today, and this is why I say like up until the up until 2010, you could find once in a while movies that every minute or 2 minutes there would be. The crowd would just erupt in laughter. So I remember watching Spaceballs in the movie theater, and every minute to 2 minutes, the packed movie theater would just erupt in laughter. Just completely erupt in laughter. Like everyone was just so it was just awesome. Evan S. Why do you call her Madam Secretary? She no longer holds that position anymore. Call her by the future title. 768. Truth be told, it's just part of YouTube policies. Just because, like, if you say the name, kind of like Beetlejuice, if you say the name too many times, the person might appear. Or, no, I just primarily because of YouTube policies. Which, by the way, you never know what you can say and not say. Or you never know if you can say a name too often. There's like so many bizarre AI algorithmic, like, there are words that I have in my mind that I don't say because it's just words that, like, even like the most benign words that have this meanings that could be possibly associated with things that are not YouTube guideline friendly. So that's why, madam, it's only because of I don't want to say the name, every couple of minutes. So mainly because of like the Beetlejuice effect. Beetlejuice. But thank you, Evan S. Thank you. I found it bizarre myself, but I agree with you. But yeah, let's see. Let's look at all the Star Wars movies. Okay, Star Wars movies in order. Okay, so Star Wars movies in order. Let's see. So here's... Okay. So I only really liked... I only like Star Wars. I only like Star Wars Return of the Jedi. So A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and Star Wars Return of the Jedi and Star Wars Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. But I'm looking here. So here, these are the 18 movies associated with it. I'll read them to you right now. I haven't even seen most of these, I think, or a lot of these. But see, I'm just stuck in one world, one time period. Okay, so Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, whatever. I just call it Star Wars, 1977. Love it, love it, love it. Star Wars, okay, Episode 5, whatever. I just go Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. Love that one, too. 1980, that was 1977, 1980, 1983, Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Love it, love it, love it. Then there's Caravan of Courage and Ewok Adventure. I don't know if I've seen that, but I love it because it's from 1984, so I'll just say I love it. Ewoks: The Battle for Endor, 1985. If it's before 2005, I absolutely love it. That's not true. The Phantom Menace, I'm not really into. It's better than the other ones that have come out. I'm not into. Attack of the Clones. The Clone Wars 2003. Revenge of the Sith. I guess that's better than the other ones. Clone Wars 2008. Star Wars Rebels. The Force Awakens, Rogue One, The Last Jedi, Star Wars Story, Star Wars Resistance, The Mandalorian, I haven't seen. Maybe it's good, I don't know. Probably not. The Rise of Skywalker, 2019. So, basically Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, An Ewok Adventure, and The Battle for Endor. And maybe The Phantom Menace. Maybe. So, wow. That's the first time I've actually looked at all the... It's the first time I've actually looked at all of the movies. Eric H526. So yeah, let's continue. Horowitz's office said in the report released Tuesday that 29 applications, all of which involved U.S. citizens that were pulled from 8 bureau field offices of varying sizes, the FBI could not find Woods files for. Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting. They couldn't find the Woods. They just can't find it. While other 25 all had apparent errors or inadequately supported facts. They just when these agencies just don't want to give, they're like, oh, we can't find it. Like where do you? How do you live? You can't function in a world. You can't. I just can't find it. We couldn't find it. CG3SSF, yes. Same musical tastes as my own. You just say like, oh, we just can't find those files. While our review of these issues and follow-up with the case agents is still ongoing, and we have not made materiality judgments for these or other errors or concerns we identified. At this time, we have identified an average of about 20 issues per application reviewed. What? 20 issues per application reviewed? 20 issues per application reviewed, ladies and gentlemen. 20 issues per application reviewed. With a high of approximately 65 issues in one application. 65 issues. You better believe that had to do with President Trump. And in one application, and less than 5 in another application. Well, that's good. That's good. This is unbelievable. This is absolutely unbelievable. Not only did they find errors in every single application they reviewed, they found one with 65 errors. 65 errors. The Woods procedures dictate that the Justice Department verify the accuracy and provide evidentiary support for all facts stated in its application. So you can just toss that aside. The Bureau is required to share with the court all relevant information compiled in the Woods file when applying for surveillance warrant. It never happened. That never happened. You think they're gonna go with Biden after the entire structure, the same power structure that Bernard Sanders was talking about? Hey Bernard, if you wanted to go up against the power structure, you should have joined the Green Party. But that would actually mean that you would be going up against the power structure. So why do that? The Green Party would ensure that Democrats lose every election. That's the only way they could impose leverage upon the Democratic Party and say, if you do not do this, if you do not pass Medicare for all, you will not ever win again. Then they'll pass Medicare for all. If Bernie Sanders twists their arm. So, yes. Oh my God, I saw Easy Money in the movie theater also. Oh my God, 3G, CG3 SSF. Let's see. I saw Easy Money in the movie theater. In the movie theater. And I saw in the movie theater. Yeah, that's right. Easy Money in the movie theater. But then, you know what? I remember seeing The Fly also around that time. But The Fly was 86. Was it 86? No, it was 83. No, 86. Why do I think The Fly was a lot earlier? Anyway, so that was a weird movie, The Fly. Makeup was pretty awesome in that movie. Easy Money was awesome. That was awesome. Rodney Dangerfield is awesome. Yep. So, basically, let's look here. Officials we interviewed indicated to us that there were no efforts by Bureau to use existing Bureau oversight mechanisms to perform comprehensive strategic assessments of the efficacy of the Woods procedure. Oh my God, this is hilarious. This is hilarious. This is absolutely hilarious. You mean that Christopher Wray and Comey before him didn't perform rigorous institutional checks? Jimbo! So it must be pure coincidence this comes out now after FISA bill renewed. Exactly. Just a pure coincidence. Exactly. Everything is coincidence. When it comes to Democrats, everything's coincidence. When it comes to anything to do with President Trump, any allegation must be looked at with a fine-tooth comb. But if it's anything to do with anyone else, we just, they're trying their best. Jimbo, thank you very much. Great point. Bureau officials we interviewed indicated to us that there were no efforts by the FBI to use existing oversight mechanisms to perform comprehensive strategic assessment of the efficacy of the Woods procedure. So basically, in a nutshell, they didn't give a you-know-what to include identifying the need for enhancements to training and improvement. Training. I know that's the issue. When Peter Strzok, who had nobody above him aside from like Comey and McCabe, when he said we will stop Trump, gosh, that was an issue of training. It was just training. It had nothing to do with the government being politicized. Unbelievable. So let's continue. In a letter acknowledging the audit, Bureau Deputy Director said that the issues, quote, will be addressed by the Bureau's already issued correctives after the Carter-Page review. The FBI fully accepts the 2 recommendations. Oh my God. President Trump is right. President Trump is right. Like, if there are not people who are held accountable, you cannot have a functioning... Okay, the Russians didn't interfere in the election. Our own government did. Our own government interfered. The Democrats and their allies within the government interfered with the election. Big time. It wasn't the Russians. They can't even state with certainty. Notice that the pillar of their fantasies, the pillar of the nonsense, isn't even stated with certainty. They cannot even state with certainty that any of what they claim happened. That they can't. It's just unbelievable. They cannot state with certainty that anything they claimed, that any of their claims happened. Categorically. He argues that these errors Hold on, let's see. President Trump has relentlessly attacked the Bureau's process. He argued that these violations invalidate the entire investigation, which he has referred to as is true, and slammed officials involved, including former Director James Comey, which is true. McCabe admitted in January that the Bureau has an inherent weakness in the process of obtaining warrants. This is just unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, this has to do with political will. Don't think that when Clinton runs again, well, she'll be the nominee, and then she'll run, or run before, and then she'll run and be the nominee. 100%. Don't think that Madam Secretary is just running alone. Young Frankenstein said again. Abby Normal. Young Frankenstein. Yes, that was a great one. Walk this way. Young Frankenstein was a great one. Yes. Yes. Sedative. Sedative. Give him a sedative. Oh my God, Young Frankenstein was great. What brain did you give? It was Abby Normal. A person named Abby Normal. Oh my God, that was so great. Young Frank, hi-fi trucker, yes. Let's see the quote. Normal, yes, that's it. Abby Normal. Are you saying that you put an abnormal brain in a 7-foot-tall, 54-inch wide? Oh my God, that's so great. Hi-fi trucker. That's so great. Hi-fi trucker. Great minds think alike, everyone. This is awesome. Most of us have the same taste in movies. Perhaps also music to an extent. You couldn't find this, because what they would say with Young Frankenstein, the dynamic, like in today's world, the dynamic between the protagonist and the other characters reinforces everything bad, so we cannot have that type of movie again. Okay. Mel Brooks could not make his films in this day and age. He just could not. You look at comedy, the average comedian, and there are some great ones. There's some great ones, okay? But I would say like 95% of comedians today, you go on YouTube and you see like 1 million views, like 500,000 views, and I'm like, okay, well, what did this comedian say? And it's like somebody you've never heard of, but I'm used to like Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock, Robin Williams, Richard Pryor, like the best. Look, of the recent ones, I love Cat Williams. There's also just a recent one of the top ones of today. In addition to Cat Williams, I like I wouldn't say he's as good, but Sebastian Maniscalco, he's really good, really good, really funny. But I put Dave Chappelle. I put Cat Williams along with Dave Chappelle, and I put Dave Chappelle along with Eddie Murphy. And so, but anyway, you go ahead and you see these comedians now, and it's like you listen to them. They have like 500,000 views on YouTube, and I don't laugh at all. Like the comedians you don't even know, you just put them on YouTube, and you're like, I'm just like, this is me listening, like the whole. It's like there's nothing funny. It's like the most benign observational comedy that, my God almighty, you better not step on anyone's toes. Oh my God. Max Saban. Should we start? Max Saban. I don't think so, but it's interesting the xenophobia that the left utilizes. If it's Russia, oh my God. Everyone's a Russian operative, an agent. But like the last comedian that really, if you listen to a comedian and you can't stop laughing, or you just laugh like it's like a real laugh, like it's just awesome. Like you really laugh. That is, I don't think that doesn't exist nowadays. Generally, it doesn't exist nowadays. Even if you look at very few, like you look at comedy, I don't know. Things were better, a lot better back in the 90s, early 2000s. Nowadays, everything has like some kind of just annoying motive or agenda. That too, I think, when President Trump wins again, society in general will change. I actually do think that. I think society in general will change. This kind of religious flair, this theocratic element of politics the left has. It's like they have the audacity to tell people, you're immoral if you like Trump. You're immoral. What do you know about morality? You voted for Clinton. You vote for her again twice. Are you kidding me? You're the last person. It's really hilarious listening to people who cast judgment upon you, and then they vote for the person who's the antithesis of their alleged morality or ethical code. It's kind of funny. Like they don't realize it, which is one of the reasons they'll lose again. They're oblivious to their hypocrisy, which is another reason they'll lose. Like they just totally don't get it. Max, thank you again. Hi-Fi Trucker, Jimbo, thank you. Evan S, thank you. Orange Grove 55, thank you. Max, thank you. Animal 3458, thank you. Yeah, I mean it's You look at comedians from the past, you're dying of laughter. You're dying of laughter. I mean, it's just, and nowadays it's like, how can you perform like an amazing comedy routine without offending anyone? There's always a way. There's the funniest routines always offend somebody. There's always some kind of way you can look at it and say, "Oh my God, that's offensive." But now everything is like Hollywood media. They've tried to merge society with their view of morality, which has ruined everything from music to movies and comedy for sure. Music, I guess there's still some good music, but movies and comedy for sure. Probably other things too. Definitely politics. So, ladies and gentlemen, Dale, thank you so very much. Thank you, Dale. David Rivera, I agree with you. Like, you could not, in this day and age, you could definitely not have Don Rickles. Don Rickles would never, he wouldn't be allowed on social media. In today's standards, you could not have Don Rickles. Okay, you couldn't have a movie like Blazing Saddles. You couldn't have Mel Brooks. So no Don Rickles, no Mel Brooks. If you put today's standards and impose them upon even 40, 50 years ago, you wouldn't have you wouldn't have all the best comedians in movies. You would have our world would be would lose all the best comedians, musicians also. You couldn't have a whole lot of musicians. You couldn't have Two Live Crew. You couldn't have a whole lot of things. So you couldn't have the same comedy, movies. Just unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. I will have I will definitely, this time I'm planning for 8 p.m. Pacific, ladies and gentlemen. Be here 8 p.m. Pacific, ladies and gentlemen. I will be here 8 p.m. Pacific. All right, everyone. Thanks so much. God bless. To my super chat, thank you. And I will see you all here 8 p.m. Pacific on this channel. Thanks, everybody. Definitely subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. Thanks, everybody.